We're live. Friday night live is what this show is called. It's what we do as well. It's Friday. Hope you're all having a good time. This week, it is just me. I'm solo. But I have much work to do, as always. Axial Fest is around the corner. My desk is a mess. Sorry, I was using it as an actual workspace for once. And yeah, Axial Fest is coming up, and I've got some work to do to the Ripper. Now, I'm not going to do my whole prep on this show, because I want to do, I feel like I want to try doing one of the, what do you call it? The, like, you know, like those restore type videos where it's kind of ASMR-esque, almost. You're going to get the microphone real close in there. Shh, 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 shh. That's my plan. That is the plan. We'll see. But tonight, I am going to do a few things in preparation for that. If you guys watched, I put up a video on this yesterday. No, today. One today. All the days are blending together. And in there, I talked about, like, I don't drive this car very much. I drove it last Axial Fest, and then that was it. So I didn't drive it again until that video, which was just a handful of days ago. So it doesn't need a refresh. I just like to do it every year. It's, like I said, it's a bit of a ritual at this point. We've been running these since Axial Fest 2017. And this is the longest I've owned any RC car, is this one. I mean, that's 5 years or so. I don't think I've ever owned an RC car longer than that. Maybe I own one that's like in parts that I've had longer, but still, like, let's not get technical about it. This is definitely the longest I've ever had one that mainly ran all of the time. So, yeah, anyway. So I'm going to get into it. This one, you know, it's special in its own way, but I'm looking forward to doing some of that. Tonight, what we're going to do in prep is get some of the new parts that are going to be going on here set to go. One of which is some optioned out S8E shocks, which I'm going to switch to. I've got the original Incision 90 millimeters on here, and since I am fairly hard on this truck, I want to get it with some bigger body shocks. It does have, I mean, it's got some significant wear on it. So I don't really change out a lot of the parts that are, you know, like links and things like that I usually just do rod ends and whatnot. But that's what I should do this year as well, is do all aluminum rod ends, just because. But you know what else we should do just because before we get started is like an official ad read. Because that's what we're going to do. You don't have to get used to it. I'm not doing it a lot. But Ridge Wallet is back for a short time as a sponsor because they are showing off the key cases. So that is what we are doing. And I got the new burnt titanium Ridge key case here because I'm going to swap over to my burnt titanium Ridge Wallet, and they need to match, right? You're welcome. You get an ad read. I like these things, and I like Ridge Wallet for helping me as well, but I've been using them since before that. I was using the Forged Ember, but now I want to go to the titanium. Is it real TI? It is real TI. And, you know, that makes it even better, because even the wallets are real carbon. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to swap over to that real quick, since I've had it here for a little bit, and I just haven't done the swap. But I do actually carry these every day. And I hope this is a paid advert, Josh. It is. This is paid. That's why it's in there. And that's why I have to click the little thing. But we're going to switch over because I've been carrying the carbon for a while now, and I feel like I'm ready to go back to my titanium. I'm a big fan of titanium, if you didn't know. And now, the switching over the keys is going to be a little bit more of a chore. But Sue Sherwood, thank you, $5. You You just had to sell him kits on sale. You're lucky I'm going to work. You're mine another day. I have the ability to inflict pain with no marks. Oh, you know what, Sue? There's another gentleman who is a fan of the channel, and I got a message from him the other day on Instagram saying, I saw Brian Sherwood out riding one of his boats in an area wherever you guys were at that time. I don't know if Brian was by himself or not, but he's like, oh, I wanted to go up and ask him if he had any Vanquish parts, because I thought that would have been hilarious as well. But either way, quite funny. I'm glad to see you here before you go to work, because I think you go to work at this time. Jeremiah, I'm looking at those HK Hives Outrunners, their ESCs. Servo. Will I be doing a video on soldering their ESC? Maybe. I might be. But we'll see. I mean, I don't usually do too many on the soldering of those things, but we'll see. I'll do a lot of that stuff on on these live streams, it seems like. You never give a threat in written form, Sue. This is write this down as evidence. If anything happens to me, it could easily be Mrs. Sherwood. Yes. Let's see what else we got. Ritual would be uncomfortable. They're front pocket wallets. Not a fan of the front pocket wallet. See, I switched to front pocket wallets after I got in like my motorcycle accident way back, and because I used to be a back pocket wallet person until that, and then it was just way more comfortable for me to carry in my front pocket and didn't give me the back pain. So our Ridge wallet set up for an AirTag. They've got the little AirTag thing. I've never owned an AirTag though. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's I should, but I just never did. No Nicole seeing. Yes, no Nicole tonight. So much. I've got a handful of things to do tonight that were, like some actual work even. Would have been helpful, but she wasn't up for it tonight. So, hello from Melbourne. If anything happens to you, we're calling Nicole for the real cheap. Yeah. Nope. Nicole has a list of what my RC should be sold for. That way, it's for her benefit, not mine. Like if anything happens to me, here's what to sell them for. And then, best of luck on the rest of your life. Because for those of you that like to stay around for the long form of these shows, tonight I have a story for you later. It's not, you'll see. It's a new one. All right, there we go. Jeep key and my new titanium Ridge key case. I used to carry like my regular big ring, and I like these now. I'm a big fan. See, and I have to match. Oops, which way? That way. So thanks to Ridge. I also have a coupon code if you want to try them. Gets you 10% off, Harley 10. There's a link in the description. Go click it. It's worth it though. I really do like these things. They're my favorite. Okay, now I'm intrigued. See, there you go. You can just go look. It's worth a lot of, oh, you're probably intrigued about the story. You should be intrigued about the wallets. My EDC. Oh, I forgot. I also got the titanium little bottle opener thing. I don't know why. I'll put it in this one for now since I already put my other wallet away. All right, we're getting to work. We're going to lightly disassemble this truck so I can get into the panels. If you didn't know, the rippers, to get into the battery, you do have to remove the hood. Why is chat on slow mode? I discussed that a little bit earlier, but it's to help with the bots. And I totally remembered that I left the battery in it. That's why I brought it in. Whoops. Okay. My HD key fob would not fit in that key holder thing. Well, my Jeep key doesn't fit in it either. That's why it's attached, though. Sorry, I gotta adjust the chat window so I can see it all. Gunner, you're killing me, sir. God. If you want 10% off, Urban, thank you, Gunner. Oof, why is this wheel on there so tight? So is YouTube, Google reading all the chats and trying to filter out the... I don't know what they... There's like a message in the Creator Studio thing that said that they were trying to work on it. There was a... Obviously, like, the big channels are getting hit the worst. Their live streams are just filled with that stuff. And we just can't do anything about it. Like, you can't filter by username is the problem. We can add chat words that will be blocked, but there's stupid usernames we have nothing, we can't do anything about with blocking, and that's what's really the biggest pain. So it's just super annoying. I mean, I don't want that crap showing up as much as you guys don't want to see it in there either. But I tried to put the slow mode on where it was still, I didn't figure that it would affect any of like the normal chat rate. I figured like 10 seconds, you're probably taking that long to type the next message anyway, unless it's for like a quick correction, which we probably understood in the first place. Let's see. Even the Ultra 4 Live had the same. Yeah, it's wild. You think YouTube would block those usernames, but you would honestly, with what those usernames are labeled as, yeah, you would think so. And they did change them recently to because I think they did try and block some of them, but they still have some of the keywords in it that are quite noticeable. But who knows? Yeah, I put those on He-Man strength. All right. I type oh, thank you, Dana. I type 120 words per minute. Thank you very much. Are they real words or just are they made up words? 120 words a minute is pretty fast, I think. Scale Bilbers Guild is here. Oh, where did Dana's go? Pin. 10% off at Ridge Wallet. No, 10% off at Satisfied Jerky. Right. Blind Guy RC. Hello, Captain Treasure Pants. I did promise new ones. Thank you very much for the past couple of days of help. Maybe not Hobbywing next. Maybe not Hobbywing next time. Oh, yeah. Blind Guy RC was sending me some message, and I was trying to help him out with figuring out why his axe system was being so much of a pain in the ass to him. And we ran through, eliminating everything but the system itself, which was too bad. So, Jeremiah, thank you, sir, again. I have my car key and my house key and a Hot Wheels truck I turned into a keychain. I don't need a keyword. See, I have a bunch of keys for the shop, which I have to have. Like, just several doors or stock rooms, things like that, padlocks, things like that, things I just have to have. Like, I can't get away from having some keys on me. you know, plus my house key, of course. I like to be able to get into that when I can. This truck needs some attention. I know I only drive it once or so a year, but it gets so beat up. Good Lord, again. How did I tighten these last year? Pilot Ryan Media. Thank you, sir. Free set of deep woods with ritual purchase. Oh, deep wood. I think I still have my original deep woods. Oh, man. Nasty. Hey, Josh, could you take my capper to Axial Fest this year since I can't go? Oh. I don't know how many of you guys watched the video I put out today, but showed a little bit of what you'll see up at Axial Fest. Again, like I mentioned, you know, it's a bit unfortunate that we don't have the quality of terrain that we normally do, but it is what it is. I'm still going to go have fun with my friends. I have a spring center punch in my... Oh, see, somebody sent me one of those spring-loaded center punches. Not the automatic style, but the... what was it called? It was a different... You basically pulled it up and let go, and it was two different sizes, one on each end. I was like, want to put my Gozer body on your Ripper? Toxic calls. Hey Josh, how has the Creality Lizard Scanner been working? I really like it. I know it's sitting here in the... I've been using it quite a bit lately. And just for other projects, I'm going to work on that other tube chassis tonight as well. Honestly, just some wheels and tire stuff on that one, mainly, I think. Because I actually have kind of come to the conclusion that I want to do a kind of a simple wrap design on it. So I want some wheels and tires to make it look even better. Why servo on axle on the Ripper? All the Rippers are servo on axle. It's on an SCX-10-2 chassis. And for the style that it is, it's just, it does pretty well. It helps make the whole assembly easier. To get the cage the height that it needed to be to make it look as good as it does, the servo just didn't fit up there on the chassis. So there was a lot of reasons. This was also the truck that we used when we debuted these F9s. This was like the first set of F9s ever. You know, I guess the first set that was made available for sale, not the prototype ones or the ones that we, anodized for the photos, but those were gray. So this was like the first pair because we built them and I put them on here so that we could use the truck to show them off when we released. I've got to get those side panels off. Got to pull side panels off so I can get to the shock screws. Urban Legends Killers, thank you, sir. It's funny because I don't know why Axial is doing the event at Rob's Resort, because there's a campsite like Loon Lake has way better. The Loon Lake camp is closed, not available. And a lot of times you can't do these type of events at those places. Like when you have, commercial events like this that you're selling tickets to, you're not always allowed to do them at places like that. Otherwise they would. The guys that are a part of that are well aware of the area, but there's a lot of laws when it comes to using, state-owned campgrounds and all of that for those type of things. It's not as easy as it would appear. Sounds like the panels are metal. Everything is metal on the Ripper. It's all machined too. The chassis was machined out of huge blocks of material. The panels were machined. Like this is a machined panel. Those bosses and everything are machined. This started, well, both of the side panels sat on one, but this side panel started as, I can't remember what these weighed, but they were like between 7 and 10 pounds of aluminum to get this, because it's got this bend in it up here. Well, that means that the block of aluminum was that thick. You know, this isn't milled, machined flat and then bent. It was machined that way. So, same with the hood. The hood started at 9 pounds to come up with this. You know, same thing, all machined. And that's why. Does it dent easy? I mean, you can deform the bottom edges. You know, I've bent that back corner. You know, but I beat on mine pretty hard. So, but you know, when we sold these as a kit, it didn't come with the axles or the SCX-102 chassis, transmission, any of that. It was just the chassis, the lights, some links, things like that. And that's why these things, you know, we sold them at the time for $1,900. And you could build one assembled for about $2,500 or so, around there. But now, a truck like this one is worth around $10,000. This one probably worth a pretty good amount more because it was one of the prototypes, which makes the chassis actually a little bit different than the others. And I'll show you that. The difference between the prototypes and the production ones is, on the production ones, this bar goes straight across to here. There's an extra brace that goes from here down, and then the bracing on the side of the chassis is also different. So, a little bit of, yeah, that's the deal. Maybe it also has to do with Jeepers Jamboree the week after Axial Fest. No, I don't believe so. Let's see. Hick Jagger. Thank you, sir. I need a pass-through F10 for my G-Speed 6x6. Well, you can't really do a pass-through on a fabricated housing style. You really need like a diff cover style, because there's not a hole in the backside of the housing. So, yeah. Gunnar Nissen, again, thank you. I'll be at Rob's on Friday. Horizon never got back to me after 6 emails to get a vendor space. So I'll be selling secretly in the parking lot, selling that jerky. Just wear a big Satisfied Jerky shirt and carry a backpack around. Oh, that's right, Ben. Also, the light bar mount on the front. The production ones, we added a light bar mount across the top of the windshield, where the prototypes did not have that. RCRVCB. Thank you. Went to a local hobby shop today in St. Ignace, Michigan. And wow, it was amazing. As full-time travelers, got to see a lot of RC hobby shop. That is pretty awesome. And Michigan, for some reason, seems to have like a large number of hobby shops that have like indoor crawling places and things like that. It is wild. 10,000? You know someone willing to pay it. So there was a very limited number of these made. And the people that own them, you know, they get bought and sold regularly. And they'll sell anywhere from like $6,500 now to upwards of that 10K mark. 10K is usually for like clean or unbuilt or brand new type versions. But I'm not saying, like, we didn't set that price. It's just what the collector market has done to them. We're as amazed as anybody. But there is no plans to make any more. It was not a profitable project. Even at, you know, people called us all kinds of crazy stuff when we said, $1,900. Like it was, they thought we were crazy. They said all kinds of stuff. Like, hey, like if we charged like what our normally hourly rate was for them, they would be much more expensive. So, and then the prices on them went up and up and up. We had stopped making them already. And it's just, you can come back out and be like, okay, well now the price is this much, but you only have a small amount of audience. It's not worth the type of production that it takes to do something like this. So that's why there is no more, and there won't be any more of this. All right. Down payment on Dynatrace. That's right. Ben sold his Scale Crawler Fab Shop. Ben sold his so that he could put 1 tons underneath the Gladiator. 1 tons and 40s. Not all of it, but a deposit at least. That's ridiculous. If people are willing, I guess people are willing. 10K. Oh, no. Can't see paying that much for a single toy truck. Oh, that's the difference though. Like, I mean, if you're paying $10,000 for a toy truck, like, it's not going to be your only $10,000. And also, they've only appreciated. So now, would I ever say that an RC of any make is an investment? No. But it's just like buying an expensive car, They sometimes people buy them because you lose less. But exactly, like David Fair says, some people can't say paying $400 on a toy truck, but here we are. Yeah, people will be like, I can buy a $59 one at Walmart. It's like, yes, you can. These are better. And then they look, I can't see paying that. I'm like, well, that's true, but the machining and things that go into these make it more of an art piece than just an RC. And some people won't get it, but that's cool. It's really what it is. All right. So shocks are all off. There's one thing I treated myself. Sancho, yes. You had bought yours, got a pretty decent deal on it at the time, if I remember. Yeah, and I can't remember. I don't remember do you still have yours or not? But one thing that I would like to do on this, I don't know if I'll have time before this year, Axial Fest or not, but I was going to kind of do some detail work in the back here. Last year before the event, I made these carbon fiber inner panels, or inner fenders, and some carbon fiber boat sides. It was just something I kind of wanted to just accent it with carbon, and I thought that would be fun. But I figured I could also do it in these areas if I came up with a clever way to mount them, which I may do still. It's on the list of things that I want to get done. I think it'd be a good time. Hey Josh, Jim Huff here from Ohio, new to the hobby a couple years ago, found your channel about 6 months ago. Man, you built some awesome shit. Whatever that is, thank you for watching and finding the channel. Good luck having fun in RC, I hope. That's why they make brown shoes and black shoes. That's what I heard it all the time growing up. My dad said that a million times to me. Chris M, 8,510K for the 2 I've sold. Yep, Chris is local here. I know both of those. I still have one with a crazy anodizing job on it that I'm finishing up. Yeah, it's wild. The Buck Dandy for president. What's going on? Those that don't get it can't be part of the Facebook elite. There is a private Facebook group that you have to be a member. You have to own one currently to get into. So, it is. There's a little bit of elitism there. But not only that, it's just like, hey, it's for people that own them. That's the deal. Josh, you could probably mint a series of Ripper NFTs that grant access to the Facebook group. Yeah, Matt got one of the original. Matt, what number is yours, Matt? Yours is in the teens, right? $13-ish. Num, $2. Much appreciated. What material do you use most with your 3D printer? I mostly use PLA. Because I don't print a lot of structural things. I don't like a lot of parts that you, like I don't like to see 3D printed parts. Matt's is 16. I don't like to see 3D printed parts. I don't think that 3D printed parts typically look that great. But I really like 3D printing to use as a tool or help detail here and there, like super tasteful. I feel like 3D printing can still be overused. But I like to use it in different, you know, like this is PLA and I printed it with no bottom, like this one. And then I took and backfilled the entire thing with plaster of Paris to make it solid so that I could use it as a vacuum form mold. And that's how I made a hood recently. I think 3D printing is so powerful when using it for a number of things. And I just really, really enjoy the technology for certain things. This is going to be a new set of rear Phoenix fenders that I hope to do in carbon fiber. But they're also shortened by like an inch or so. What about the new carbon fiber filament for 3D printing? I mean, it's not really that new. You know, there's the chop stranded carbon fiber filament, which is like a little bit stronger. It's not like really that great of a material. FDM 3D printing is only so strong. There is like continuous fiber 3D printing where there's actual like one strand that it you know puts in with the bonding plastic at the same time, and then it like chops it between layers. Pretty cool, but still, those are way different than normal 3D printers. But I like 3D printing. I also feel like it's overused. Did you sell the Nats truck? Were those 2022 Ripper monies? If so, nope. 2020, the class 1 is right there. And it is for sale. It's on my website, and I've got a large price tag on it, but it'd be low. It'd be in the low Ripper dollars. Need to mill a Ripper hood from carbon fiber. If anything, I could mold it in carbon, which would still be fun, but you know. Josh, 3D print some stirrups that have threaded holes for blind mounting your carbon. That's kind of, I had thought about something like that, being able to reach around the tubes to help get them mounted up. That's kind of what my plan was on this one, because I've got the aluminum panels that I'm making for the sides, and this doesn't have any body mounting holes on it. So I was thinking about kind of making stirrups like that. That's along that same line of thought. If I have to weld mounting points, I'll do that, but we're going to work on that truck here in a little bit. But the Ripper, put that to the side. The only thing I don't like about the kind of stirrup style is like either it holds it off of the tube a little bit, or you have to have 2 hardware holes. Just use zip ties. Ugh. Hate zip ties, and I hate when zip ties hold on panels. It's my biggest pet peeve, and I think it looks terrible. Terrible. No link to your website in the description for shit. I know. I don't like I don't promote sending, or you know, like sending people my website. I just have it there for when I, you know, to like as a repository for the things that I need to list for sale or be able to control, that type of thing. So, as I mentioned, I'm going to put the S8E shocks on here. And rather than building the standard ones, I am doing full option parts. So, making it with all the best parts possible for these shocks, because I really like them. That's the plan. We're going to start with the Incision 90mm hard anodized bodies. So, if you haven't seen it, they're just a super nice machined hard anode body, which I think is a good color. I think it'll go well with the blue. And the nice thing is we get to assemble the lower cartridge ourselves. Dale C. Drink is almost empty. Use the Bauer blower to get Nicole's attention. So Dale C had sent me a photo from Instagram today of the, it's basically a drill with air horns on it, which you may have seen those before, or the electric horns are the more common one. But you can specifically get the air horn ones. And we bought a dual air horn handheld drill setup. It's the Bauer one. It's still super loud. It's got a little compressor that goes on the nose of the drill, and then the air horns mount on top of it, and they're huge. We got it for the shop, actually, and it is very loud. They do make a quad version, though. It's from impactairhorns.com. It's quite silly. It's quite silly. And I approve fully. So we've got the hard anodized hard anodized body, and we've got the tie nitride covered shafts. Of course, also 90mm. For the shop. Yes, for the shop. Oh, before we can mate those two together, we need these, which are the machined pistons. So rather than the injection molded ones, these are machined. Just makes them a little more round, a little harder as well. Let's see. You sold the Flex Seal for $9.50. I would like to hire you as a salesman. I did sell it for $9.50, and honestly, I think that it was not a bad deal. It was, it had all nice stuff in it. The truck itself still looked good, had new wheels and tires. And, I think that in the end, it turned out, plus it had a story, and a story makes for a fun truck. Went to a gentleman in Georgia. It was famous, I know. But also, with all of the Flip That trucks, I'm very transparent about what I paid, what I did to them, and the condition they're in. And then I ask the price that I think that they should sell for. But I am fully transparent on exactly what goes on. So there's no, it's as least shystery as I could possibly be. Right? Straightforward. Details. I may even say that something is a little I don't know. Josh, do you still have your orange hard body tube buggy? Nope, I sold that one as well. That one, why did I feel like that one also went to, I think that one went to Texas maybe. I think I took it off the website already, but I remember the guy's name who bought it, but can't remember exactly where I shipped it to. I've never had an E-clip. Well, I have had. They do follow me. They do, or fight me that bad. All right, so we've got our tinitride shaft and the machined piston. I forgot one very important parts tree, which means I can't build these shocks. Damn it. Damn it. I forgot the plastic parts tree. Because if you're building them from scratch, you have to have that, because it's got the upper and lower cartridge caps, the spacer, the rod end, the shock spring cup. So, well, that was a short stream then. Well, no, I have more to work on. Luckily, I'm just more mad at myself because I wanted to build these shocks. Like strangely, I've got to the point where I somewhat enjoy this process now. I feel like these shocks I just like the way that they go together. For some reason, I really dislike the screw-on lower cartridge style to assemble from scratch myself. I find it to just be a frustrating thing. These with the clip, I don't know. I just like them. Damn it, though. I'm mad about that. Nicole, run to VP quick, would you? First sign of old age, Brian. Let me tell you, I feel like my memory, or my short-term memory on some things is just like, I feel like it's my addiction to social media and my it's a flash in my head and then it's gone. Like, what was I doing? What did that? What a bummer. Your remembery is broken? Well, I'm not going to reassemble this completely, but I'm going to throw the old shocks back on. Not on, but I'm going to put the top on, just throw the lower screw through, and put the panels back on before we switch to the next truck. Grab a camera, let's go to the shop. Ah, damn it. That just makes me a little mad. Makes me a little mad. I mean, I've done dumber a lot. Probably today, even. Fox shocks by Proline. I think that those are SCX6 shocks, if I'm not mistaken. Just at a quick glance, they just look like a much larger scale. The finish of the aluminum looks like a larger piece. So I'm guessing. You're not chuffed with yourself. Yeah. Aren't those for the 160? Yeah, that's what I agree. I think that they are. The hashtags at the bottom said SCX6. That's always the thing with Proline. When they post a sneak, they usually tell you everything about it in the hashtags, and I just didn't see it. I think I actually saw someone else's screenshot of it, was all. Dope. Okay. There we go. The fun. Let's see. Sorry, I'm late. I'm getting ready for a G6 event tomorrow. Hopefully, I didn't miss a lot. Not a ton. Just some things that I forgot that I was Josh, did you see Henry Storm's shortened SCX6? No, I only saw his long one. Did he just use the rest of it to the rest of a second one to make a shorter one? Oh, that's backwards. Best 2 tires for the rocks at Disney. Crawlapalooza, run their class 3, have to run big tires. Let's see. I mean, I would probably just run Hyraxes. 2 Proline Hyraxes. Hyrax will work just fine at Disney. He's building a 2-door. That makes sense. Did you where's the screw? There's the screw. I can't believe I forgot those parts. I mean, I can totally see myself doing that, but that CI block sits the truck pretty good and stable. Yes, was looking at them the other day. Yeah, this is the long block, so it's the one that's like twice as long. I have a ton of the cell blocks. I mean, all these trucks sit on a cell block. I've got extras there. I've got all different sizes. But this long block is probably one of my favorite, especially for working on a truck on the bench without its wheels and tires. The regular ones, which are like, this is a standard cell block, and these still work great. It gets it up a little bit higher. It's still nice and stable. You know, you can fidget about and it doesn't fall off. But when you just want it to be more stable, this long block is my favorite. So there we go. The plan for this is also to put the ProTech 1K TBL on it, because, you know, why not? Seems like a good place to try it out. Just a nice little update. Throw our panels back on. Just because I don't want to smash or lose or drop and break, whatever. Not that these parts haven't taken a beating already. More stabler is more gooder. I've heard that. I think that was in the Bible. Did your monster truck ever arrive that you heard when you streamed? So Matt and I talked after the stream. And we both had them sitting there in our carts, and we were just talking like, both of us balked at hitting buy. We both sat there and we talked. We're like, should we? No, do we? Because we were talking about them for a specific project, and then we were both just like, it's not the right truck for that project. And so we decided like, yeah. And we decided to not to. And, you know, it was a moment of weakness. We had Tony on. He was talking monster trucks. We both got a little glassy-eyed, you know, hearing about all of his wild work stories. And we were weak to his ways. He really, we almost fell for it. Josh, a ripper panel hitting a rock makes a very distinct sound. Oh, it does. I agree. When that just comes up and just like, it's like, It's got quite the ring to it. The hood, even the roof, they all make a, you know, it's a real like, just a whacked. Like, dang it. Metal mashers make a unique sound as they do. They're a little hollower, you know, sound. These have a little bit more because they're just so well supported. They're just screwed in perfectly in so many places that they're supported well. They're quite taut. Let's see. What in the name of sweet baby Jesus is going on here? The Frog Father has joined Mr. Toad Daddy. Too late. Catching up and just finished the TRX 4000 battery soldering. Next time, take off that ring. Oh. Literally cook your finger off, FYI. Oni, I really hope that you're hanging around for the rest of tonight's stream. I told everyone earlier that there's a story time, and let me tell you, there's after that, you should stick around for this. Those 2 hits devalued it by $2,000. The hood even. They just... I mean, I like the sound. I like that little tack. Okay. Those are all on. I don't need these nuts anymore. Sure, it's a good looking truck though. I like it. And then, speaking of ugly trucks, the $50 tube chassis truck. So, this truck, again, this is a flip that truck. And I have a plan that I want to do a bit of a livery on here that's red and white. And that is, so I'm going to do a set of wheels on here that's going to kind of accent that. And I'm going to do wheels and tires. So, let's see. Cleaning a ripper after running through a mud pit is a pain in the ass. It can be. It definitely can be. Listen today while installing the overhead garage racks. RC Tina guy moving into a new place. Yes, I do like the look of that new garage though. It sure looks good. The enjoyed the pull off you did. It was a fun little event. Obviously not a huge turnout, but it was still a good time. Matt says, you paint? Listen, Matt, I am going to use a robot to make me stencils because of some guy on YouTube so we're going to do it. The Milwaukee's best premium livery? No, I'm going to do the, what was Matt drinking the other night? Coors Light, but with even less it was non-alcoholic Coors, which was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Wait, you guys clean your ripper? I saw someone else ask about this chassis. This chassis was built by a guy in Kansas City, and I bought it for $50. He just wanted it sold, and I was just like, he had it listed for $50, and I was just like, okay, I'll take it. I knew him, but he had it listed in a public group, and I snagged it. Coors Light, exactly. When you bronze the little TRX 4K. It's definitely got to go to Proline by the Fire. And I don't know what else. PBR livery. No, so a bunch of us, like us guys at work, and even Matt, we talked about it recently. We've been into this spoofing brands, like spoofing a livery, but with a different text in the logo or whatever it is. And I'm going to do that to this one as well, because I think that will be fun. So, and it's not going to be a beer at all, actually. It's in that same wheelhouse. It's going to be like what they always call them, cowboy killer. That's what I always grew up hearing them called. So we'll see. I don't know if that was just what they were called where I lived, or what my dad called them, but they're called cowboy killers. I grew up around a lot of cowboys. Marlboro Red, Don Clark. Evidently, it wasn't just a Nebraska thing. Because yes, that is correct. So, we are going to Ohio thing too. Ohio, okay, 2 people in Ohio hearing it. Remember honey wine? Nope, don't. I don't know that I've ever heard that. It's got to go back. So we're going to spice these up with some rings. Tennessee too. Same in Mass. Okay, I think it was everywhere then. So Indiana. So perhaps Marlboro, like the town in Massachusetts. No, it's just going to be. I'm going to do. I think I'm just going to do Harley, but in the Marlboro font. Pry bar check. It's actually right here. I think I took stuff out of my pocket here a second ago. I knew it was close. Put it back in my pocket now. I made a logo for the Knight's Ferries that looked like Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC. Oh, Knight's Ferry crawler. That makes sense. That makes sense. Knight's Ferry. Is that close to me? Isn't that here in Northern California? Don't I know someone who lives around there? I almost had to, I looked down, I was like, oh no, I had to, oh, it's DK. I don't have to ban DK. Okay. Like, oh no, oh no. Are the new VX2s going to be your go-to tire choice over the G8? I mean, like my crawlers for scale style, the crawler is still my favorite tire. But if I'm not trying to go for like that uber scale, then it's likely what I'm going to be throwing on there. I've been having such good luck with them for so freaking long. But I'm saying, we ran them actually at Axial Fest last year. I didn't run them, of course, because I was going to have them in video, but they might have been in one of the videos, like on Dan's truck, because Dan was running them all weekend publicly. So if you find people didn't notice, but that was, it was over a year ago. Let's see. Are those custom Cerakoted? No, they're just regular clear anodizing. So they're that silver look. Josh, are those tanks? No, these are Method 310s. Knight's Crawl is near you, and we're still waiting for you to come crawl with us. I feel so bad I forgot his name now. He owns a restaurant down there. He's got some boys. For some reason, I feel like they're semi-famous for their burgers. Why can't I remember his name? I feel terrible. They own a restaurant, or own a place that has a restaurant, or something like that. Are those real wheels or for RC? Wait, what? These would be awfully small on your real car. What is the advantage of those narrower wheels? These are a standard 0.8 inch wide wheel. Are the 310s IFR ready? Yes, all wheels are now, or all ones that use an external ring. So, was it the Gastropub? That doesn't sound right. I could look them up on my Facebook, but that seems inappropriate during the stream. see. Buck Dandy. So what kind of camper are you and Nicole staying in at by the fire? Buck Dandy, we have rented an Airbnb that Ben booked for us already. We let Ben and Nancy be in charge of picking out the Airbnbs because they have really good taste. Thank you very much. Although Nicole and I have been looking at rooftop tents for the Gladiator. Nicole is a bit interested in doing some camping. I won't call it overlanding. I'll only call it camping. VXT2 look like they need a decent foam with sidewall support. Looks like they wrinkle. Yeah, they are very soft. Sticky and soft sidewalls. So yeah, I put a foam in every new tire I ever get. So tonight I'm not going to because these are just going on here for now. It's a flip truck, so adding even more is not going to happen. But you know, let's see. Wish I could beat it. Oh, Proline by the Fire is such a good one too. Nicole's welcome to stay in my trip during the event. That she might take you up on that. She does like to go over and visit Tony's, the Ramaza Inn. Let's see. Will Matt also be sharing the Sap Ace as well? Same place, maybe? There is 8 of us. How many are staying in our Airbnb? I know it's Nicole and I, Ben and Nancy, Moose Jaw and Mrs. Moose Jaw, Matt and Rex Racer, I think, and Phoenix, 9. Phoenix as well, plus my big wheel and the TRX 4000, which also require their own room. I'm saying it now. The trike will be done by Proline by the Fire. It's going to be a packed house. Yeah, it is going to be a house for sure. That's one heck of a pull-out couch. My sister lives in Placerville, and my nephew is getting into RC crawling and 3D printed parts. Anyway, I told my sister about you guys, and nephew said he wouldn't mind a tour. Well, we don't do tours of the shop normally. Every once in a while we'll do like people that are close, but we don't just do open tours. Like we have to, unfortunately, kind of closed facility for a number of reasons, but. Because we don't have like a storefront or anything like that. We're just a factory. So well, when I make president, y'all can stay with me. Buck Dandy should run for president of something so that you can get it. Worst episode of Full House ever. That bag of hubs kills me. Yeah, I mean it's definitely it's a lot of hubs. I mean, it used to be a lot more hubs. I've been using that bag for quite a while. Let's see. Josh, minimum SLW size on a Pro with tank wheels. Pretty sure you can get away with a 225 on a Pro still. It tucks over those knuckles without a problem. I would still run a 350. But pretty sure you can get away with 225. But 350 would be my oh, actually, sorry. Hold please. I have to mute you. Okay, sorry. Anyone good at reading lips? You're well. Sorry, I knew I had to take that call. I knew that was coming, and I could not take that. My apologies. But now I have notified Nicole, and I'm done. My whatever you would call it, obligations have been fulfilled. I will be doing a bad lip reading of that. You could do that with even with the part with audio. You could still just make up what I'm saying. We're not good enough anymore. I got 2 kilos of Colombian Bam Bam. If I had that, I wouldn't be doing this live stream. I would be, oh, I still maybe would, but because I think that stuff's real expensive. All right. We make up what you're saying anyway. You know what? As long as you're watching, it's all the same. It's all the same. Is J Concepts calling? We're outside your house, mother. Ding, ding, school's in. Let's see. He just got hit on John Schultz. What? He just about hit on John Schultz. Put a hit on John Schultz. That makes sense. Stripper salt, fine china. Oh my god. Was that Sue that called you? Brian, now that would be quite funny. Wait, you put 2 rings on that one wheel? Oh, you didn't see the IFR. I'll show you up close what the IFR system is, because it's pretty awesome. It is what I do on pretty much all my wheels now because it makes them look even cooler. It was Horizon Hobbies asking to do a limited edition SCX6 in a different shade of green. What's your favorite shade of green? We've got new Toyo tires that we want to put on it, but we've got all these Nitto stickers. Is that fine? Let's see. K Concepts. Every kiss begins with K. Let's see. The tires are all way too small and look just like your truck. What? Oh, wait. Now I get it. Now I'm offended. Reef's 900 Smart Servo or 1100 Smart Servo for the extra $10. I mean, $10, you get 200 more. Like, I would go the extra. You can't really have too much servo power. Do you need Loctite on the rims? Never put Loctite on rims, especially tiny hardware like that. When 164 hardware, even 2 mil hardware, the same, don't put Loctite on that. If you're doing stainless screws, 100% not. Even steel screws, I don't recommend it unless you're like just in a spot where it's super duper critical. Like if you're on gears or something like that, then Loctite you have to, but make sure it's with a steel screw. Otherwise, the head will fail before the thread if you have to remove something. And with this many screws and on this type of application, no need. Let's see. Fingernail polish is the poor man's Loctite. Loctite is it lasts so long. It's fine. Just use fingernail polish is probably more expensive. Just use Loctite. And, oh yeah, well, you always gotta make sure you, yeah. Blue Loctite if you're using the Loctite brand, or non-permanent Loctite in general. Unless you're going for more of a permanent application. Do you actually collect a paycheck to VP, or do you just trade for parts? You know, it's all about exposure. But the IFR ring is that inner ring, and it sits inside of the bead lock. So that there's a ton of different designs, styles, and the colors, so you can really just make wheels look more interesting. And that's what I'm after. Always more interesting. Have you ever had an SLW hub fall off your wheel when on the rocks? Absolutely not. I don't even know if I've ever had an SLW hub come loose, like even a screw. So no. Let's see. Let's see. Show the little blue truck you got. Show the little blue truck you got. Little blue truck. What do you mean? Little blue truck. My Ripper? Is that the one you're talking about? The Doug? No, I didn't get a blue Doug. And it didn't come in yet. SLW needs to be clocked. That is the one thing. These hubs are the Toyota. Oh, Albert, what's going on? The toy. It's in here some. It's way in the corner. I may show that a little bit later. I usually show the sneak peeks of Flip That Truck trucks at the very end. Sookie is on one out there, which I'm sure you can hear. Yeah, meow, meow. She's on her wheel, just going nuts. Let's. Cross threader better than super glue. Oh, you guys are killing me. But I can get red Loctite from work. How many Ugga Duggas on RC bead locks? I feel like I have a really tuned torque meter built into this hand. You can always use a Dremel to get them out. Ugh, killing me. Yeah. Sookie was absolutely on a tear last night. My goodness, we were gone all day, and that meant she wanted attention. Yeah, there we go. BT, our crazy follower. As always, much appreciated. Thanks for being you. With a dancing pair holding another pair. Hey Josh, did the new methylene chloride free aircraft stripper work as well as the old when stripping the tube chassis? Mario, I didn't do it yet. For some reason, I have like a mental block on getting to work on that red truck. Like, I know I should, and I know that it can in the end be cool, but there's something about this truck. I think that it was partially the fact that when I got it, it was in such worse shape than it was advertised to be, that it like just pissed me off, which has not happened many times. And it's just like, I don't know. Something about, like, I know I just need to strip it and then get to work on it. It's done well. It just has some weird things done. Like, I need to get those nuts changed out to 3 mil and change some things. But I just need to do it and get it gone. Because the truck is just, it has soured me in a way that just has put there's an odd tension between me and that truck. Every once in a while, I just walk past it and just flip it off. Just have it bead blasted and powder coated. I could have it industrial bead blasted. My regular one didn't work, but I will not powder coat. I do not like powder coating these chassis. I always paint. Powder coating, that is already powder coated, and it powder coating on RC tube chassis, like, you're going to hit it against the rocks, you're gonna flip it and all that, and it just when it chips, you can never blend it. It's never the same. You can't repair or blend anything like that. So I always paint tube chassis. There you go. There's my reasoning as to why I do what I do and why I don't do the other things. And the same way with my Losi Mini Bee. Yeah. Josh, check your Instagram messages. I sure will. Oh, you mean right now? No. Flex seal it instead. You know, I guess that would be one way to continue the... Tell the kitty I said hi. Is that wheel face? There we go. I had 475s on here before, right? Before I mount these tires? Yes. Okay. I couldn't, for some reason, I was just like, all of a sudden I had thought that I had tiny tires on here. I think it'll still look good. Spray on bed liner? No. Again, same thing. It's just so, it's too thick for one. I think it makes things look bad and out of scale when it kind of makes it all that overly flowy, or like, unless the bed liner is super thin, I just can't get on board. So, you act like we pay attention. I'm aware. I'm just saying, by the repetition of the things that I seem to repeat over and over, steel it. I do want to use some steel it, and I like the color. So steel it is a real possibility. That's a definite option that I have thought about. I've stopped. My local welding shop doesn't sell it, which I was kind of bummed about. Picked up a can of that today. Ooh, I dropped a screw today. So I've been. What about Cerakote? I like Cerakote as well, but it's kind of the same problem again. You can never blend it. You know, so there's reasons that I like paint instead. Sandblast it, then chrome it. Oh, I had a chromed chassis before. It was a Matzilla. It was one of the U4 chassis. Got a free can of Steel It directly from them. Go on their website and they will send you one can free. What? Is that for real, Chibs? It's like he's making my German Shorter pointer go nuts right now. Too bad you can't diet Kentucky Sky Blue. I feel like it would almost be worth having a special can of it mixed up, don't you? Josh is about to have 19 new addresses. So, first one done. All good. Maybe we'll just do one side, and then I'll just rapid fire continue to answer questions. The can confirm Steal It has a request a free sample button on their website. That is amazing. Thank you, Chibs and Art. I am gonna do that. So. I need to buy the servo and axle mount for this as well. Well, you missed my left turn signal roundabout question. Mike J, what did you have a question on left turn signal roundabout? There should be no need for a left turn signal in a roundabout. Hypercat, no fat, lazy cat. Yes. Suki is absolutely... She's not that hyper, honestly. Not usually, until she gets on that wheel. And then she's ready to go. Wait, isn't your Ripper Cerakoted? The chassis is not. The panels are. So, but the chassis kind of is what I'm referring to. Like panels I'll paint. Well, I guess you could powder coat those. But the chassis I wouldn't Cerakote myself. Some people have Cerakoted Ripper chassis. But it's not for me. Definition of bed liner is extra thick. How does Josh prep a hard body? Did I? Oh, I did. Yeah, I have before. I was gonna say, I've painted a couple of hard bodies. Light scuff with some real high grit paper and soap and water. Alcohol wipe down. That's about it. What was the general reaction of Vanquish when the Ripper prices started going crazy? It's always the same because it's like it's the same as normal. It's just on a different scale. It's just like, well, the Ripper was a little bit different because the demand for the Ripper was higher than we expected. We didn't expect to sell that many of those. We just thought that we wouldn't. So when people kept buying them, we're like, okay, well, these are not a sustainable product like this. So we're going to have to cut them off at some point because I think the demand even started to kind of go up for them as the time went. We're just like, just like, this has got to stop. So, but it's like with a lot of things, the prices on some items go up and up and up. And you're just like, you guys didn't want these when we made them. Like, that's why we stopped making them. People are like, why don't you make these anymore? Because you guys didn't buy them. Like, I just hope people buy the D44s now. Because the D44s will be coming back here shortly. And, you know, those were one, again, that just didn't really sell that well when they first came out. But at the time, it was kind of before there was many offset axles that were around. What's the D44? D44 is an axle housing from Vanquish. It's what came on the original Origin, the first VS410. So, you know, and like I said, they just didn't sell very well. But the, you know, people have been asking for them again, and we hope they sell because it's our favorite axle. Are Rock Jocks ever going to be in stock again? Rock Jocks go on the site every week. They just keep selling. But yeah, Rock Jocks are in constant production. They have been for months. So they sell super fast, but you just got to keep checking the website. They go up and then sell. So we don't have a notify me option, but you know, what about the D44s? I literally just talked about that like 45 seconds ago. Let's see. Would D44 fit under my TRX4 Sport? I don't know that. Possibly. I don't know. I think you'll keep a lookout on the site. Yes. Do you know why A main says the front rock jocks are discontinued? Nope, I don't. Unless you're looking at like SCX10 original. Can you notify me? No, I don't check over there very often. I walk in and I see them, and then I see them. I know they go on the site. I'm about to grind on a set of D44s to put leaf springs on them. I put 10.3 axles under my 1.9 Wraith, and they bolted right up. That makes sense. The TRX4 Sport is the one that's, I just don't remember, you know. With I would be worried mostly about panhard clearance and stuff. Just email Josh every day. I will delete your message in a heartbeat. Which ones fit best on a TRX4 Bronco? I honestly don't know. I've never really changed out axles on Traxxas trucks. It's just not something I've done. Other than actual Traxxas ones themselves. Let's see. Are them tires in hobby shops? Can't find them in Indiana. I mean, they started shipping last week. So, beginning of last week. So, depending on where your hobby shop orders them from, it's a possibility. Why all RC questions on this channel? With the right links, you can shove about any axle under any chassis. Kind of true, except when you have like the TRX4, it's the difference between putting an axle underneath there and having it underneath there in a way that I would consider proper. You know, with the correct ride height, without having it just jacked way up in the air. All kinds of things like that. Like, yes, you can put them under there. But I mean, you look at Facebook, you can see people do stuff every day, and it's terrible. Like, that truck looks like shit. I am out of sparkling, bubbly water in my house now. That was my last one here. Josh, how is your bowling game? Like actual bowling? It's not good. I've done it many of times, and after every time I do it, I hurt, and I'm like, I don't know why I hurt, and I'm pretty sure it's because I must look like a rag doll. Rock Chucks will return. Rock Chucks are always, they have been going for a long time. Like, they're not a new thing coming back. They've been in constant production for at least 2, probably 3 months. So, now I do like golf much better than bowling. Any plans on doing the Swans livery on your truck? I feel like one truck has to get the Schwan Man livery, like for sure. Should I squat my kids SCX10? No, never do it to a truck that you think is a good truck. Holy water jug. It's 64. Well, you can also see that it is Uline. It is a free Uline gift. And it is a drink tank. Look like a jug of moonshine. I hate the little water bottles, like 20 ounce. It's like, it's gone in no time. At least this is 64 ounces, so you don't have to fill it up every 45 minutes. Ooh, the fire extinguisher. Oh, it does kind of look like a fire extinguisher. That would be fun to have one that looked like that. Are you a Schwann's kid? Oh, do you guys remember the Schwann's push pops? The, like orange sherbet ones? Oh, they were so good. Josh has a 64-ounce jug of water, drinks 10 ounces a day. My problem is that I drink 0 ounces of water a day unless I have this, and then I can like try to like make myself can like drink it. I try to drink one of these a day. Like that is my that's my goal. How many Uline catalogs do you get a month, a year? We get them almost weekly and have never ordered anything from them. I can't remember if we get a catalog or not. We order from Uline every week, like at least a pallet of Uline stuff a week. But like we get a lot of our box supplies through there, all of our packaging material and cardboard, like shop rags, and like so much stuff comes from Uline. That's why, like, I've got 5 Yeti tumblers here, and that's just some of the stuff that I like. It gets distributed throughout a bunch of us at the shop. So, how long does it take a machine to vanquish a 10-2 axle? I mean, it depends. Like, it depends on which one, and then there's, you have the third member as well, and you have first op and second op of the house. It depends. I usually don't necessarily say a lot of that info either. Uline for the win on shipping supplies and free crap. Yeah. Man, if you need foldable chairs, we got a lot of them. Don't remember if Schwann's, but the Flintstones push pops were Flintstone. I don't remember if it was those or not. I remember. 10.3 minutes per axle. Duh. Yeah. Uline rewards are the best way to get stupid shit. Thanks to Uline, I acquired a Johnsonville brat cooker. That's the one that's the exact shape of the brat. You just put them in. It's like a George Foreman that will only cook brats. Have you ever thought about putting a miniature gas engine in an RC crawler? Have I ever thought about the concept of it? Yes, but at the same time, it's when I also realized it would be a terrible idea and would not work. Correct, and only Johnsonville brats fit in it. That's an even better. That's an even better feature of that. Oh my god. We used to have good humor truck that came. You should see the ice cream trucks that are like here in California. It is the weirdest. They're the worst looking ice cream trucks. Like in the Midwest, we had like the white Econoline vans, and by no means are those nice, but they all just kind of had the same look, a little bit different, that's fine. Here, they've got these super shady looking like little step vans, like the almost flat nose vans that are two-tone yellow and white. And then they also have some of the like Econoline vans, but with these wild roof units on them, and they just look terrible. They're worse than creeper vans. Like these things are straight up like threatening. Like just straight threatening. Free ice cream and naps. Yeah. Free hugs, free ice cream, free naps. Let's see. Can you show off the $50 Cajun hood you created? My dad was curious about it. So, sure. So this thing started, bought the cage for $50. It was basically like it is. It was made for an SCX-10 2 skid plate. I used a VS410 skid plate. The drivetrain that's underneath of it is an Element. So this came off of a Gatekeeper, and it had these little shorty trailing arms on it, but they weren't going to work on this geometry. However, I had just got these Yeti trailing arms, and they bolted up pretty easily. So threw that in there. This is the Gatekeeper rear sway bar. I have to weld in a tab. It'll get welded in about right here. So through the suspension travel, it'll come up about like that. So it'll go right there. Now the hood, I took and I used this piece, which is a 3D scanner, and I took a scan of the chassis. I actually had put some blue tape on here to create more surfaces, but then I 3D scanned the chassis, and then I drew what the shape of the hood was going to be. And then I 3D printed that. I added some draft angle to the outsides. Like that's what this outer lip is. You can kind of see, if I block my face, you can kind of see the outer draft angle to it around the outside. I printed it without a bottom to the 3D print and with like 3% rectilinear or rectangular, depending on what slicer you're using, infill. So it looks like this underneath. Hollow, no bottom. Then I just backfilled it with plaster of Paris, and that gave me the buck. This is was printed at like 0.2 layer height, so nothing that smooth. I knocked it down quick with like a 200 grit, maybe 120. Could have even been 80 grit. Might have been 60. Don't remember. Somewhere in there, knocked down any rough spots, and put this in my vacuum former and formed the hood, which is done from 060 styrene. So this goes in there, the whole sheet of styrene goes down, and it creates the hood. Let's see, which way is the light? There it is. So I did that, and then I 3D printed what looks a bit like an air cleaner. And I made a hood. It's got a little bit of shape to it, nothing wild, but it's a flat chassis, so you only have so much room to do something. But it's a perfect fit. It drops right on there. Moroso air cleaner, pretty much, exactly. How is the rear pinion with those long trailing arms? So you can see it's pointing about right. I'd say it's about even with it. And throughout the travel, move that sway bar, it actually stays really good. Oh, I changed the upper links too, though. So you can't, if I just changed one, I would have had a weird pinion climb issue. So changed the uppers to try and be around that 70% length rule-ish. Yeah, why not Lexan and standard paint underneath? This is a little bit more rigid than the Lexan stuff. Lexan is a little bit more difficult to 3D or to vacuum form. It's not impossible, and that thing will do it. I'd probably use PET instead of polycarbonate. But this is, since the rest of the body panels will also not be Lexan, there's not really any need. I'm using aluminum for the side panels. I don't use polycarbonate usually for tube chassis panels. I usually prefer to do aluminum. And then since it's a hood and since I'm painting on the outside anyway, why not just use styrene, which is a little bit more, I don't know. Well, there's a number of benefits when it comes to the actual vacuum forming part. Why that color? Did Nicole have you order the filament? She did. Did she get funny ideas with the scanner? It's kind of funny you say that, Darwin. I have this filament specifically because Nicole did order it, and it was specifically to 3D print little dicks. They're about this big, and she had me 3D print, how many did I print? 64 of them for when she went on her trip to Wyoming, and she hid all 64 of them throughout her girlfriend's house, on shelves, in cupboards, just everywhere. So now I have silk purple PLA filament, and I figured making it for a mold seems why not 69? That I mean, it's a good point. I just did them I just did it in increments of 12. I didn't think about doing any extras. Thank you for calling Lexan polycarbonate instead of plexiglass. Former life was in plastics, and customers asked plexiglass. Polycarbonate became one of my biggest pet peeves. Now, isn't Lexan and Plexiglass, aren't those both brand names? Aren't they both 3M brand names even? Damn it. That was smooth. Plexiglass is acrylic. Aha! That makes sense. Yes, we saw that. Still got some mustache. Drinking water is hard. You'd think that I was actually drinking. Josh just waterboarded himself. God damn it. Nicole's friend is now proud of a veritable bag of dicks. Yeah, because I was just like, man, I hope that you get searched by TSA as you go through security and you have a Ziploc bag full of dicks. Just it isn't waterboarding if you use diesel. Oh my God. Is that 64 ounces of bubbly water? I wish. I am now out. Found my answer. Just no one in Europe making custom links. Is there? I was trying to think if I knew of anybody over there. I think that Psycho Pat is out of Europe. And I'm wondering, I think maybe he makes custom links. Maybe, I could be wrong. He's in the comp crawling side. Josh could read my comments about the Ram 6x6 running into the land ramp. Oh, on Instagram. Not during the stream. Josh starts talking about tiny dicks and loses all motor control. I like your style. You were in community. Oh. Let's see. Where did that go? Just got done taking the SAD shocks off my truck, going to get some option parts for them. Nice. TSA doesn't ask questions. I bought over 100 3D printed dick buttons. And they gave me an odd look. Let me tell you, you know what TSA does ask questions about? RC cars. Every once in a while, you can really, really get some questions. I remember going through a TTC once, and I had a little bit of water inside of my tires. It was the end of the world. What's the wheelbase? 12 3/4 inches on this. 12.75. Slightly shorter than the Gatekeeper is normally. 12.8 is the normal Gatekeeper. This is 12.75. Storytime? I don't know if it's time yet, Adam. Told the guy, I texted the mod chat before this. I'm like, I have a story for tonight's stream. I'm probably going to wait until a little bit later so that I'm a little bit more, you know. At Axial Fest, there was no Gate 69 markers. Bill left them out on purpose. That was always a thing here in California as well, is that they usually had them, but they oftentimes were stolen by the end of the first day. So, forget RC, I'm getting on a plane with a parachute as a checked bag. Oh, God. Hey, I have work tomorrow. Not too late on the story. We'll see. Tell the story. Some of us have to work in the morning. Not me, but some of us do. Ridiculous. Let's see. Trying to think. No truck nuts in the back? Never truck nuts. Truck nuts is never the right answer. Story after 8. Make them show commitment. Dirty danglers. Oh, so that noise that you hear in this truck when it rolls, that's because the spur gear is running on my Lexan interior models. Is it a funny story? Not particularly. I mean, depends on your perspective, I guess. Like, everything's about perspective. So sure, it could be, but I don't know. You know, you see the nut that clips onto the croc strap? Yes, I have been sent that many times. And I get sent the croc with the winch on the front of it daily. Will it be funny in a couple weeks? I don't know. Like, I don't know when the crossover is going to be for me. Like, is anyone naked in this story? No. Although with my luck, the Lexan would clearance the spur gear rather than it will self-clear. See, I subscribe to that many times. Self-clearancing or performance machined, as I've called it many times. Better or worse than the camper story? Very, very different. Is it about me? No. Does this story include physical and emotional pain? Yes. Yes, it does. It sure does. Both. Can you actually remember the story? Uh-huh. His flying cars involved it anyway. Not 100% sure. I could just listen later after the live show. That is exactly true. So, with this truck, I'm trying to decide. I have one panel. I really need to actually make the other panel. That's what I should do. I'm going to make my template at least now, while I make you all just, we're family. This involves family. I don't even know if my family all knows. Did you need to cowboy up? Oh, that's my favorite. Adam, I feel like we grew up in the same place. I heard cowboy up so many times. That was a absolute staple of my upbringing. Cowboy up. Quit stalling. Get to the story. No, I won't. Family. Is this Fast and Furious? Shotgun and beer class. I don't have any beer in the house. All right. Cowboy Up was the country tribal band. What? Oh, like the tribal armband, the country version of that. I'll allow it. I get that. I feel like it was also a country song. What's it? Rub some dirt on it. Cowboy Up. Do you have any scabs to prove it? You mean from my upbringing? And do you mean scars? Lincoln County Fair, $25 entrance fee. I spent a lot of time at the... Wait, where's Lincoln County Fair? I don't know where Lincoln County is. I grew up going to the Douglas County Fair. Even though I grew up in Washington County, but Douglas County was the big city. So, we go to the Douglas County Fair. Go to the whatever they had. Why did we go to the fair? The Sacramento County Fair's happening this weekend, or starting this weekend. Oops, there we go. Okay. Making my templates for the aluminum panels. This I find to be the easiest way to make body panels for these trucks, because tube chassis are never symmetrical. So Never perfectly, at least. Is it Missouri or Missouri? I'm a Missouri guy because I didn't grow up in Missouri. I moved there after college. So it is Missouri. I, for 10 years, lived in Kansas City, Missouri. That is how I say it. Now, if you grow up there and you've got that bloodline in you, then I feel like Missouri is a way of life. But it's misery to me. You got that twang that, you grew up talking about the holler. Down in the holler over there. Ain't no Missouri and ain't no misery in Missouri. It's I still call Missouri home. Born and raised in Missouri, but it's Missouri. Now, Mike J, aren't you closer to the St. Louis side? And that's, they pronounced Missouri Earnhardt. Do it for Dale. I work in misery from time to time. The long-term residents don't have enough teeth to pronounce it properly. Yes, just above St. Charles County. So, I mean, technically, Kansas City people, like, we don't count St. Louis as Missouri. It's just like, yeah, we give them to Illinois. There's in-state rivalry in Missouri. Don't know if you guys knew this. Kansas City people are like, those are Missouri. Those are St. Louis folk. They're not from Missouri. And yes, there is East and West St. Louis. East St. Louis is where you go if you want to party with the what would you call them? The entertainers. If you want to go to see professional entertainers, you go to East St. Louis. They call it the Soche Ballet. Or if you want to die, also that. Also good if you want to go get unalived. Yeah. Some of like the highest murder rates in the U.S. are in East St. Louis. They are more than helpful. We call it the shoe show. Yeah, that makes sense. That's the shoe show. It's East St. Louis. I think is technically like this little island, and yeah, I think the island is called Soche. So the Soche Ballet. Never been. Heard about it. Okay. Transferring my templates over to my aluminium. Glad I live in southern Missouri. Is Ryan Springfield? All right, Springfield area. Is that southern? That's southern Missouri. Don't have many of those problems here in Utah. That is true. Just have a hard time getting a decent beer. And David Fair. Okay, this is only because I watch TikTok, but I learned all kinds of things about Utah now. And one of them is, do they put milk in soda? Is that really a thing? I need to know. Because I feel like I'll try it. Like, it's got to be, like, that many people are doing it. It can't be that bad. Well, That's not totally true, but you know. Donald Teal. Don, much appreciated. Love the dialogue and depth of your RC history. Well, thank you. Somebody appreciates me. No, I'm kidding. Thank you much. Hope you're enjoying and having a decent start to your weekend. West Plains, Missouri. Ah, West Plains. I hate when people say aluminium. Grr. Never heard of it. We had root beer milk growing up, but haven't had it in many years. Okay, so maybe it's not milk and Pepsi, but it doesn't mix well. Is that really? Mormons are wild. There are people who put Kraft singles on apple pie. They need to be shot. I have seen that. I don't. Why is that a thing? Doesn't Utah have a lower percentage alcohol in beer and liquor? I think it's only in beer, and it is a thing. But that's a thing in many states. Kansas has it. Oklahoma has it. These are just places that I've been regularly that know. Didn't you watch Laverne and Shirley? Mm-mm. I did not. That was before my time. Is it Warsher time? How is that a thing? I don't know. The Kraft singles, or I don't know. Not Texas. How is milk and soda bad, but ice cream and soda is good? Art, that is a good question. Milk mixed with squirt. No. No, I don't believe that for a second. Vanilla ice cream and Pepsi is a thing here. Yeah, that's fine. I'll give you that. That's just a float. A Pepsi float. Yeah, I've had Coke floats, Pepsi floats, root beer floats. Those are all fine. Kraft singles on apple pie rocks, but a good cheddar on apple pie is better. Oh. Ah. What? Peanuts and Coke? Milk and Pepsi. Milk and chocolate cake is better. Oh, milk and chocolate cake is fantastic. Far superior way to eat cake. Actually, it's the only way cake is good. Otherwise, cake is trash. Pie is far superior, and I'll fight you over that. Cake is trash. Truck pull still going on at the fair. Ban that man. I don't know about cheese on apple. I want to cut this thing out, but all I want to hear is about this weird, wild crap. Josh, you attract some weird viewers. I learned so many things. So where are the RC questions? I'm disgusted by some of you people, Gunner says. Warm milk and Mountain Dew? No. Mountain Dew floats from A&W on St. Patrick's Day. I'm fine with that. I'll allow that. Cake is trash. I will fight you right now. Cake is trash. Cake is just not that good. Okay. What time is it? It is after 8, so technically you haven't had good cake. I've had good cake. It's just really good cake is still just okay. It's like, okay, this is better than not having cake, but only just. Like, otherwise cake is still just like, okay. I guess, like, it's the cake that you all stand around to sing half-assed happy birthday to someone that you don't, it's just like, okay. Like, I just want the cake, even though it's not that good, but it would break up the day. Like, that's the only thing cake is good for. So, this story is about family in particular, and I learned it today. It's about my family, and it was on my way home, actually. And I'm still a little perturbed, and I'm sure if any of them heard this, I would still totally 100% stand by the fact that I'm a little perturbed. But I was talking with my mom today, and she's out of town. So I've told many stories about my family, in the past. So if you've been here for some of them in the past, this one will not necessarily shock you, but it's still shocking in its own way. Anyway, my mom is out of town right now for an extended period of time, taking care of some sick family, unfortunately, of course. And my dad, that means, has been left to his own devices, which is on its own always a scary thing, has been my entire life. So many things that I do now are because I saw my dad do them the other way. And I'm just like, well, that didn't work. So my dad gets more done than anybody I've ever met, ever. He's just the most get it done person that I've ever met. But he'll just get it done in any way possible. Not necessarily what I would think is the right way. And that leads up to the conversation that I had today. Because I was talking to my mom, and we were 10 minutes in to the conversation, which I think is important. It wasn't the first thing that led off this conversation, even with my mom. Having a conversation, we're 10 minutes in, and my mom says, yeah, your dad had a fishing accident and cut off his finger. And, it's just like, oh, man, yeah. And I continued she kind of continued on with the conversation. She goes, yeah, I check find my iPhone thing often to see if he's at the house or whatever, so where he would be working on the shop, or if he's at the river where he would be at the RV or fishing or something like that. She's like, if he's at the RV, I'll call him and see what's going on. But she checked and saw that he was at the emergency room or medical center of whatever sort. And she calls him, and they're just having a conversation about nothing, presumably. And then, since the subject had not been breached, she just said, so why are you at the emergency room? And he goes, God dang it. Like, obviously that she knew the technology had come around to bite him. And, yeah. So my mom then says, yeah, they weren't actually able to reattach. I was like, he literally, it's gone. And the part that perturbed me more than just, also, it's his trigger finger, fishing trigger working. It's kind of I use this finger a lot. But the part that perturbed me is for one, it wasn't even what she started the conversation with. I feel like I would have liked to have got a call about this. Nothing. It wasn't even the first thing. And no other information about it. Doesn't know where on it, how it happened, nothing. He's just it doesn't matter. I feel like it does. I feel like we should know. What the? Mad about it. Little bit. How old is Dad? Dad would be, it is 2022. That would make him, what would that make him? 67. And he is literally in the middle right now of building his new shop, which is a 40 by 60 stick framed truss roof, the whole deal, that he's building 100% by himself. 100%. Putting the rafters up, sheeting, the roof, everything. 100% by himself. Does he fish with TNT or machetes? I've probably told the story about that before as well, where there's there's an outside chance that there was explosives involved. it wouldn't be out of character or out of this possibility of another. And like, he converted his 2-story shop at the previous house to a 1-story real quick while he was in it. Yeah, like literally blew the entire top off of the thing. And by the time he healed a little bit from the obvious burns, and then just put a roof back on it and made it a 1-story, like within a week. Ridiculous. I mean, oh wow. And the other thing was, like, I was at their house maybe 2 weeks before the 1-story conversion happened. And we were fishing, and he was throwing explosives into the water because it's Missouri. I still don't think it's legal there. Anyway, and it like didn't go off, and he's just like, man, he's like, I got to figure out how to make these fuse. And it's because he was making them himself. I'm just like, I told him, this is my least favorite of your hobbies. And then that happened like a week later, and it was just like I was mad, such a told you so moment. Just, your dad needs an appearance on your live stream. You could not get my dad to sit here for long enough. He is the most like up. He's going. Get him to sit down is a freaking miracle. Yeah. Same guy who crashed a paraglider a lot of times. Like every time he flew it, he had to weld on it again. Like every time. He had like 3 of them for parts because he kept crashing them and having to weld them back together. And then the last crash was so bad that it wasn't all that recognizable, and it matched his hip that he exploded when he shoved his femur through the back of it. It's good. Like, it's paraglider made from conduit. I swear, there's so many stories. All of them are. I have to say, your dad sounds like a lot of fun to hang out with. Terrifying to be related to. Absolute blast to be around, though, for sure. Is your dad Forrest Gump? Your dad has not luck. No, I disagree. I think my dad is the luckiest person ever, because he's like the person from the Hot Tub Time Machine. Like, there's so... I said it to my mom. I was just like, well, I guess I'm just surprised that he's made it this long with all 10 fingers. Because at any other... This phone call I could have expected at any moment over the last 30 years and not been surprised. But it's still, I would have thought I would have got a phone call. Your dad sounds like someone I want to hang out with. So, he bought these paragliders, right? And for one, he bought one. For one, he's always wanted to fly. So he just bought one, right? And he watched a YouTube video about it. And he bought it, and he like just took it up to the soccer field. He goes, I just want to see how like the parachute comes up. And then it just like came up super easy, and it was just like, oh, well, let's just take off then. Like, one video. About it. Like, trust me, research, no time. No time. And therefore, then, the subsequent crashes obviously happened. I remember he got stuck in a tree once with it, he said. He had a big problem with looking at the ground when he was landing. And evidently, that's a bad thing. And he would just hit and just fold the suspension. But he had... during crashes or whatever, at one time he damaged the fuel line. So he found a piece of fuel line that he had. He put it back together, and then he was flying again. And he smelled something, and he realized that the line was leaking, and he had to land like right away. And he landed in the back of a Walmart, and then got someone to give him a ride back to his truck. Turns out that it wasn't fuel line that he had. It was literally braided dishwasher hose. Like, and the gasoline just ate away that plastic, obviously. But after that, he somehow needed to replace a motor. I don't know how, it's hard to say, but for some reason, the previous motor stopped. So he put a new one on, and he was flying, and he said while he was up there, he heard an incredibly loud bang, and he literally put a piston through the side of the motor. So obviously, that was the time it stopped functioning. And he looked down, and there happened to be a defunct golf course. And he landed safely this time, magically. And when he stopped, he was literally at the end of the driving range, which was not defunct. That was still going. So there was a guy on a mower or a ball picker, whatever it was, and I think he had just said, like, to my dad, like, don't see that every day. And my dad asked him to give him a ride again to his truck again. My dad went, got the truck, which wasn't too far away, brought it over, and about that time he heard all these sirens and stuff going on, and wonder what that's all about. And then all of them came at him. But what had happened was, when that explosion happened, there was a guy on the ground where my dad should have been, and he called the police or 911 or whatever to be like, hey, this guy's probably going to crash. But the way that the guy explained it to him, he goes, yeah, I heard a loud bang, look, this guy's looks going to crash or whatever, possibly, however he said it. He was in deep Ozark, Missouri, so you can imagine the communication. But the way that he described where he was headed, he goes, yeah, he's headed kind of towards the ammunition plant, which happened to be nearby, probably within flight distance. My dad shouldn't have been. So the police all came because they thought that this thing was going to crash into this area. Who knows what it could have been, their biggest story of the decade. But they all came at my dad, and they said the police were all hot and bothered. And started, like, my dad was still just loading this thing onto the trailer, and the cop was just like trying, like, will you pay attention? He's like, do you have a license? He's like, driver's license? Like, so it's like takes his wallet and he's looking for it. He just hands the whole wallet to the cop and says, you find it. He keeps loading it's a 3-wheel paraglider thing. He's loading it onto the trailer. And the cop just like didn't know what to do because he didn't, I guess, technically do anything wrong. But it was still quite the outpouring of emergency vehicles that were ready to act. Williams like scale off-road. Thank you. Sorry about your dead finger. Love the stories though. It's never ending. It's scary every time that phone rings. Okay, but you never said how he cut his finger off fishing. I know, and I don't know either because he hasn't told the details. Like, we don't know. We don't know. I don't know where, how, or like where. Nothing. And the story comes back to 3-wheel vehicles. This is where your love for them comes from. No license needed for a paraglider. Oh, I know. That's why he bought one. He's like, I can get one of these without needing to do any classes? Okay. Yeah. But you know it's the index finger? I do specifically know it's the trigger finger is what was said. It's trigger finger, which is also important to him. Never grew out of his teenage years, huh? What was my dad's favorite saying growing up? Never too old to have a happy childhood. That was what he had said. Cut off or blew off? Don't know. Fishing is all I know, which could involve either. Josh, did you see the picture of the Pontiac that had the nitrous bottle ruptured? I did. Can't imagine the boom that made. Agree. The safety check valve, the pressure plate in it, was gone, and they just put a straight block off plug in it, and it blew it like. I don't need no flight instruction. He had no problem flying it. It was landing that he needed some instruction on. I know. That's just... Bit off, probably. Big fish happening. That happens when you got one of the big fellas. It'll make for a good fishing story if nothing else, I guess. God. Landing. Controlled crashing, exactly. And you got an RC airplane? Yeah, because I too understand the allure of the sky. Like, understand. Makes total sense. I know, though, maybe I do it in a way that I'd have a less chance of dying. Can you understand? Like, I love my family more than anything. Most important people in the world to me. I'm terrified of those phone calls. The most terrifying thing ever to me, like source of anxiety, I get a phone call from a relative during the middle of the day. My family in general, very respectful of like the time of day or whatever. We talk in the mornings or in the evenings. Before, like on my way to work, my way home from work, I call my mom all the time. Check in, say hello, what's going on. Try and do that as much as possible. If I get a phone call from one of them noon my time, I'm just like I know it's going to be something bad. Or at least my anxiety knows it right away. Who is the parent? I had very good parents, but I have become terrified. I remember when I got in my motorcycle accident when I lived in Kansas City, and I had a Hayabusa, and I used to ride to work, and I got hit head on in downtown Kansas City. And I remember I called my mom as soon as it happened. Then I remember first thing she answered, I said, hello, everything's fine, but got in a little bit of an accident. Just a heads up. And, it was just, again, it was that time. It was the time that I called. She was just like, what happened? I'm like, yep, You sound like you have PTSD. Is that a sign? I don't know what from. I've not had a very traumatic life. I've luckily, well, other than these stories, I would not say that I've had a traumatic life. Your dad's story is going to start off with the fishing was hot and I ran out of bait. So, my buddy was just hit by a distracted driver on his Harley. Lucky he's okay. He's in the hospital. He and that. Yeah, same thing. Guy didn't just coming the opposite way. Just didn't see me and just turned right in front of me and just bah. Hasn't had a traumatic life. Dad is near dead weekly. I remember I lived in Kansas City since 2006, right? And my parents used to live in Omaha at the time, or Fort Calhoun, technically, the little town north of it. And I remember I came back home at one weekend. I pulled in the driveway at like midnight, maybe later, by the time I got home from the drive, like 3 or 4 hours north of there. And I pulled in the driveway and there was a sailboat in the driveway behind my dad's truck. And I walked in the house and I went, Dad, where did the sailboat come from? And he goes, these people were giving away a sailboat trailer. Okay. He's like, well, they gave me the trailer. And then someone else just had a sailboat they didn't want, and I had a trailer. So we are not sailing people. We have motors on everything. They gave me a sailboat trailer. 2 different people. I don't know how that happens. Perfect Christmas present for Josh. A glider pipe and a pipe bender. Dude's still going. I'm going to bed. Daughter has softball tournament in the morning. Have a good one. Your mom has PTSD, post-traumatic spouse disorder. What happened to the sailboat? I literally have no idea. Like, things just came and went. Somebody had a surgery at my house, and I think it was my mom. My dad came home the same day with an electric scooter, like the hover round, you know? It was like, yeah, this guy had it. Just, got traded for it. Had a deal. Whatever. And then my dad later sold that thing or traded it, whatever, and had a bunch of like a pallet of 6-volt batteries. Like, literal pallet. Probably stacked on top of each other. It was a lot of them, regardless. And then a month or 2 later, he pulled up in our little town. My town growing up was 800 people. There's no transit program in a town of 800 people, if you weren't aware. We're a long ways from the city. And my dad pulled up in a city bus, like the full flat-nosed diesel pusher, air with the digital city bus. I traded a guy some batteries for this bus. Never did anything with that bus. He was going to turn it into like an RV conversion thing, and then he just never did. But my dad retired at a pretty young age. He worked a ton up until that point, and then he retired, and he just played with the most random shit. All right, I'm going to try and make this side panel now that I've aired my grievances with my stressful day. Okay, but what happened to the sailboat? See, most people would probably know, like if a sailboat came into their life, how it left. But it was such a normal thing, like that something like that could happen. Where the hell did my Sharpie go? No idea. Who knows? Could have ended up anywhere. Just didn't warrant any further investigation. And now we're enamored with your dad. My dad went for cigarettes, still waiting for him. My retirement plan is to buy an old bread truck and turn it into a party truck. Yeah, see that? I think Dad's plan with that city bus was to turn it into a RV made for motorcycles, because we were real into the Harleys at that time. Thus my username. Why is your Sharpie not in your magnetic Sharpie holder? Because that's in the fab table in the shop. And that is full, and it is the best. I stand behind that purchase, and I would highly suggest it to any of you fabricators as well. Let's see. You should be happy to have such a cool dad. I know a lot of people whose dads just exist. Oh, my whole family. I'm super lucky with family. Well, but we are a very tight, immediate family. I think it's safe to say. Like Nicole's family, is massive. Like, and they're super tight as well. But they're super tight with everybody, the entire extended family. Everyone's close. Like, my family was not that close in our extended family. We also didn't have a big extended family. Like, we just had close, tight-knit, immediate family. Like, Nicole calls everyone her cousin. And I'm like, how is that your cousin? I go, well, this person and that person. I don't know. Can you have your dad as a guest on live stream Wednesday next week? Let me tell you, technology not not his strong point. He's got so much better over the years, actually, though. But I would not say that I share my dad's sense of risk and adventure. I much more take after my mom and her overcautious with things. I truly do. I'm a pretty cautious person. You know, like, my dad was rodeos and, you know, bucking horses and just wild. And that was just the norm. Cowboys and bucking horses. That settles it. You must have your dad on the show. That's why your brother flies planes and you play with tiny. Yeah, when we got the phone call that my dad had crashed his glider, my brother was in a plane in like a Cessna of a friend of his, which was unfortunate timing. I bet your dad is carrying 2 pry bars. Now, possibly, but my dad is a cowboy and therefore wears jeans that are probably much too tight to carry as much stuff as I carry in my pockets. I will admit, I do have the, pocket room. My dad is 76 next month. Still team ropes a couple times a week. You can't sit still more than an hour or so. I grew up with around a lot of team roping as well. I learned to throw a lasso at a fairly young age. I think I still remember how. Still remember how to hold it. Still remember how to. I doubt I could hit anything but a steer's head on a hay bale, but that's about. We grew up with a lot of horses, and my dad used to break horses for people. How old am I? I'm 38. I will be 39 next Sunday after Axial Fest. So my dad used to break horses, whatever. And he used to, after he'd get a horse broke and someone would come pick it up, he would put me on him to show that it was a good horse or whatever. I can't remember at what age, but it wasn't on a horse that he had said was broke. It was on like one of our horses. And I don't think that I really ever just loved horses. But you're 37, you'll be 38 next week. No, I am 38. I will be 39. I was born in 83. But at some point in my life, I got bucked. And I just, I was at that point, I was just like, nah, I'm done with horses. Done. I was just like, no, I'm over it. I don't want anything to do with them anymore. And I was just done. Like, no. So, we had to go feed horses and all that every morning before school, or feed and water, whatever, normal stuff. But I still, like, I definitely wasn't even a teenager yet. And I was just like, I'm done riding. I want nothing to do. So I said to do the work, and I didn't ride him at all, but still just around them all the time. I graduated in 89. I was born in 83, class of 2001. So, created my second body panel with my bends. Well, it's upside down. While we've been talking, I have still actually been working, but fits in there and fits quite well. So it needs, I need to fine tune the bends. Like I just need a little bit more angle on that one. But I made this shape in the back follows the shape of the tubes. So there we go. Are you doing a hood scoop or vents? The hood is already done. Where'd it go? It's super bright white, so it won't, but it's kind of a cowl-esque with an air cleaner in there. But it's vacuum formed, and there you go. Let's see. There we got here. Happy. Where you? I was in grade 12 when you were born. Shit, I'm old. Where's the name Harley come from? When I created the screen name for the first internet forum I ever joined, which was rccrawler.com in July of 2004, when I was starting my obsession with these silly cars, I owned a Harley. So I created the username Harley0706, which the numbers referred to a date that was going to be a day for myself and my future first ex-wife at the time. So, later I shortened the name to just Harley, and there it is. Yeah, it's not my actual name or anything associated with my name. Third for me. Gunnerness, thanks, sir. Bringing a rope Friday. We were videoing that swing. I'll throw a rope. I'll try it. I have not thrown a lasso in a lot of years, but I'll try it. We'll see. One and done. No marriage for me. I'm two and done. Learned a lot of things after the first one. That one I was just like, all right. I see. I got it now. All right, I got this. One more time. I got this. Just don't lasso Nicole. Harley Designs, you're not going to use that 3D printed buck for making an aluminum hood? No. I think that there would be way too much draft and sharp corners for this to be usable for that. If I was doing aluminum, I think I would need to design very specifically for that. And I did not on this one. This is just... That's the way it is. Maybe Pro Line by the Fire would be better. You can rope Matt. If you've ever... Gunner, you would know. If you've never been roped with a lasso, which I was many times growing up, like those last, like, they may seem soft, like if you've only seen them in movies and things like that, but those ropes are stiff. They're like, they have a coating on them. Like, they hurt. Like, that rope is rough. Yeah, rough, especially if they're older and that coating is off of a little bit. They're super rough. But when they're new, they're just heavy. They're bang. It's like, God. Trauma comes to the surface again. Those ropes are rough as hell. Yeah. You know, I think we all have our personal traumas. I think mine are on probably the luckiest side of most things. I feel pretty lucky to have been raised the way that I was. But there's things that I remember. Like, I remember those, like, oh, you don't want to get hit with one of those ropes. Damn. Those things are super stiff and they hurt. My uncle was a rodeo cowboy. Me and my cousins were his practice dummies. Exactly. And God forbid you were around somebody who was a healer. So in team roping, there's the person that goes first on the guy who heads on the left side, I think, right? Is that right? Is it left? Is always the healer's always on the right? I think, because healers throw. No, is it opposite? Because healers have to throw underneath and you can't be crossing your horse. Can't remember. Either way, you get someone who is practicing that and they'd whack your ankles or grab them when they hit you. And then, of course, you'd fall. Oh. Damn it, man. These things hurt. I'm in therapy still, and I was born in 78. Yeah. Remember snipe hunting? Anybody else been anyone else ever been invited to go snipe hunting? Now, I did not grow up around snipe hunting. I didn't hear that until I had moved to Missouri. And someone's like, you want to go snipe hunting? I'm like, too bad for you. Google exists after, like, ha. Been there, didn't catch crap. So, luckily I never had to go on any snipe hunting adventures, but never heard of that. Yeah. Probably have play rope around here somewhere just for people roping. Yeah, I went snipe hunting way before the interwebs. See, that makes more sense. You tell me something now. You're like, you want to do this? I'm like, sure. I'm going to do some research first. I was 8 and they took me. God dang. I've been gopher hunting. Now that's fun. That's a lot more easy to be successful. Snipe hunting, you know what? Well, there's usually only one loser at snipe hunting is the problem. Everybody else is successful, and it's usually just one person who's not. Night fishing with jugs at Mark Twain Lake when the sky was clear and shooting stars existed. That's with jugs. See, we've done jug fishing. I don't know if that's the same thing, though. Everyone snipe hunting is a loser. Is that like blinker fluid? Similar. I always do research to see if there's rocks I can crawl when I get invited places. Oh, man. Is that like going to the submarine races? I've never heard of that. I like it. Now there are 20 snipe variations. See, when I made the other panel, I used my big shear out there, so I didn't have any of these edges I had to sand. It's so much nicer. But I live in the Mississippi River. I need to try cat. Oh, see, my dad, catfishing is his jam. He catfishes big blue river cats. Those things are crazy. Yes, jugs with lines. See, we do, okay, jug, yeah, so jug fishing for us, yeah, same lines, and you just tie a line off the bottom of a jug and throw it in, and then you just throw a bunch of them and drive away. And then you come collect the jugs and see if one is like trying to get away from you. I'm like, oh, go get that one. Is there a catfish with a finger in it now? I don't think so, because it sounded like there was a possibility of reattaching it, but Ravensdale RC, welcome back. Hey man, good evening. Have you framed and mounted by your front door how to properly prepare for your husband's arrival from work document? Have you guys seen that? I mean, sure you possibly have, but it's like the 1950s how to prepare for your husband arriving home from work. Catfishing nowadays is a very different sport. Noodling. So we've done a variation of noodling in Disney. Like we're at Crawlapalooza. They have the dams down there, and they'll open those dams, comes down, and when they shut them off, there's still pools that get fish caught in them. And they were trapping big spoonbills in those, which if you've never seen spoonbills, they're pretty freaking gnarly looking. But we were just hand fishing spoonbills, like 6-footers. You just get in there, you corner it one side and just pick it up and it shakes. Speaking of catfishing, how was your cougar hunt a few weeks back, Gunnar Nissen? That's right, we had a special code for it that week. All right. This panel is looking pretty nice. Making sure all is good and the edges are a little smooth. Man, they really want us to put ads in live feeds. I'll read my own ads. Thank you very much. For those of you that weren't here at the beginning, we did do a live ad read. I don't apologize at all. You guys can deal with it. These YouTube channels are expensive, man. You gotta pay for parts somehow. Pitchforking gar on the Platte River. Did a little bit of that. What would we call it? We called it gigging. Like gigging frogs or gigging gar. Even carp. You gig carp. I guess we never, but it's kind of, they were like little pitchforks. 3-tine. I went to bowfish carp. We did that a little bit growing up. That was fun. A lot harder than it seems, but you only went during spawn, and it was pretty cool though. We did it in Okoboji. We do it by like the spillways. Now it is wild. Like I'll see like the guys who have the like when my parents lived at the Ozarks here over the last handful of years. Those guys that have just those big boats with the deck built in the front and all the down firing lights, and they'd come into the coves at night and just be hovering between the docks. Oh, so cool. Those big boats are I love seeing when people like here's what I like doing, and now I'm going to take it to the 11th level. I love that. Like, I really like this bow fishing. I want to take and build a really expensive boat that is good for exactly this. It's my favorite thing. I used to do a lot of northern pike fishing. We always tried to do a lot of northern pike fishing. Northern pike were quite difficult. A billion lumens of light on the front, exactly. Because they'd come into the coves, like by my parents' docks, you know, at 1 in the morning, and just, it was just the sun rolling into the cove. Yeah, we would try and fish for, we do a lot of trolling for northern pike and muskie, which were always fun. Walleye fishing, also fun. Enjoyed that. We had a lot more luck with walleye than northerns and muskie. In Michigan, northern pike fishing is its own sport. Yeah, they're so cool. I mean, muskie were always the ones that we liked a little bit more. They were just bigger, at least where we were. But it was so crazy because you just so rarely catch them. Seems like it was 1 out of 100 times we'd be successful. You need a simple red devil. That's what we would use. It's just a red devil spoon. Is that what you're talking about? The red white striped spoon? Can't wait to see your dad ice fishing. Yeah. Same thing. Same stories. Northern pike and muskie are active hunters. You just need active lures to get their attention, and their prey drives. See, you can't slap fish for them. Yep, red devil spoons. Okay, that's what I thought. That's what we did that, and we would troll. So like just slow trolling, just dragging lines. I haven't gone fishing much over the last handful of years. I guess we went deep sea fishing in Mexico over the last Mexico trip. But other than that, our neighbor here, a friend of mine, not neighbor at my house, but at the shop, he fishes a lot. And honestly, my biggest problem is that like I just don't have any more time. Like, if I want to do this as a hobby and for work and the rest of my spare time ever, then I can't also start to fish again. So, not at least, not, what did you say it? Not so much that it becomes another hobby, at least. Even though Nicole would probably love it, because anything that takes her near the water, I mean, she hates to fish, but at least it means we'd be by a lake and she could just be there. I went offshore fishing for the first time in Florida, caught my first cocaine. What's up, Josh? I know it would be too loud on a live show. I use an orbital sander with 60 grit on aluminum, gives a nice finish. Yeah, I've got a Milwaukee 18 volt out there, but you are exactly right. It is very loud on a live stream. I would have used my shear instead of tin snips on these and not needed to take that edge wrinkle off normally. Like on this side, I didn't have to do it at all, but yeah, I would normally have avoided this. What's it? Square groupers, right? That's marijuana. Does Matt need a hug after this therapy session? I'm not Matt. He's the other guy. This is my cheapest therapy session. Other therapy is much more expensive. Search fishing. Eula fishing in Hawaii. I really miss the fishing in Hawaii. Ooh, I've never been to Hawaii. That's on the list. Nicole and I want to go back to Costa Rica, and I'd like to go fish there. Seems like some good fishing. Where did you pick up that shear? Where did I pick up that shear? It is from Kaka Tools, Kaka. And I think it's a pretty inexpensive brand. I'm not sure what the I got it at a discount on one of the websites, whichever one. I can't remember what it was, but it was like a $140, $60 shear, and I got it for like $98 or something like that. And those shears are just too. I used to have a 12-inch when I was in Kansas City, so I missed it and I wanted another one. Is it cheaper? Is it cheaper therapy though? Like, you know. Ugh. I mean, no, but at least I have something to show for it. I did it again. Not as bad this time. You get something tangible at the end. I'm right there with you. Okay, we got those two done. Ooh, it's 9 o'clock already. I was gonna put the other wheels and tires together, but I can probably do that off stream. You suck at drinking. Stick to building RCs. Yeah, stop drinking. This is getting ridiculous. Sometimes the therapy starts a new anger. It does. Yeah, sometimes you're like, and another thing I remembered. Must have missed about how are the panels attached. Currently, they're not attached. They're just on there with tape. But that's not how they will be. They will be attached properly later. And that will either be with body nuts that I'll weld on, or some sort of 3D printed thing that I make that kind of goes in and helps brace and work, but we'll see. I haven't decided yet. Now Josh hates horses. I do hate. I've maintained that for a very long time. Let's see. The water's so clear you misjudged the depth. Oh, that's the other stuff. The gunner's code isn't working. Oh, I think there's a slash at the end. Take that little guy off there. Do you just weld nuts to the cage? Depends. Sometimes yes. Not stainless lock nuts though. You have to get steel and preferably non-nylock. Otherwise it just melts and it's a pain in the ass. I just get plain steel nuts. Or I'll make tabs and, with a small hole in it that I can tap. Number of ways. But normally, yes, I'll just weld a steel nut to it. And so, tires sound sticky. These tires are sticky. So, the ugly duckling that this thing is currently, it will continue to look better. By the time that this is done, it'll look quite presentable. But with that, I'm going to take several deep breaths. Maybe go play a video game. You know what? You're going to vent those tires? Oh, for sure. Tires definitely need to be vented, and I mean, they need foams too, but they will get vented at least for now. Roll up my shears. way. And yeah, Fortnite. No, I think I'm gonna go play some. What am I gonna go play? Wreckfest, maybe. Maybe I'll go play. I don't know. I can't decide. I feel like Forza. I don't play Forza too much. Wreckfest is fun. I think that's what I'm gonna play. It's just simple and I can screw around. And so, thumbs up for Wreckfest. If you're on PC, I'm gonna go try and find a server. PC, yes, PC. Maybe you should play Operation just in case. Oh. That air cleaner has the exact shape as the Factor 55 shop sackle pulley. That makes sense. Ben, thanks for stopping in for that. I appreciate it. I swear. Okay, we're done for the evening. I'm gonna go load up a video game. I think yes, indeed. What cage is on the top shelf? Oh, this top shelf? UC Fab. Moon Buggy. What's a PC, not a Mac? It's my Jesse Haynes Fabrication style Moon Buggy. That I think I found a place for that little deluxe portal transmission. Be able to hide that little guy in there. Real nice, Clark. Real nice. So, I hope you all have a good weekend. Have fun. I feel like there's... Oh, blue Toyota. Good call. Real quick before we go. Sneak peek at next Flip That Truck. Next, Flip That Truck. Little beat up Toyota Class 1. And let me pull the body off. Body off. Underneath, we have a TGH forward motor mount, a Hobbywing Fusion, TGH transfer case. I think this is a G-Speed chassis, maybe? I can't remember. But incision drive shafts, associated shocks. That is a Three Brothers G11 servo. Yeah, it's got incision. This is element axles, but the front got broke in transit, so the servo link came off and the panhard link broke. So we have work to do. Steve Broch, thank you, sir. Have a great night. Thanks for a great time. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you all for watching. G-Speed chassis, indeed. That's what I thought. Phoenix, ugly or unique? I think it's... oh my God, that's ugly. It's... the tube work is not... I think it's the appropriate amount. I'm not a big fan of like the dented hard body look, but I think that it was done well enough that I think this one will actually make a pretty nice truck. Not a ton that needs to get done to it, but there's a few items that you'll see. Nicely equipped. More work ahead. Again, good times. I hope you all have a good weekend. And I will see you soonish. If I don't go to a car show on Sunday, maybe I'll do a stream. I think, maybe. We'll see. Next time. Later, guys.